Hi, this is Brooke Klemetsrud for Education 301 Strategies in the Elementary School. So for my final, I decided to do the Naturalist product, I would say, off of our tic-tac-toe menu. And I decided to make my flip book, which is right here. And I would like to share this with you and read it to you. But I also just want to preface a few things first. I kind of have my title up here, and I love color coding. And I also want to recognize that this yellow doesn't show up well on camera, but in person it's actually like really legible. I know that yellows can be difficult. But I created this, so when I was thinking of my strategies and theories, I wanted to have something that I want to work on more as an educator and something that I can reference back in the future here as I'm teaching. So these are all things that I want to really excel at as an educator. So I pick things that I can look back on and I can really use as a resource in the future, and so that it's user-friendly as well. So my resource file, Miss Klemetsrud's Guide to Effective Teaching. So if you open up this first tab, it says Work Together. So that's our first bit. And then every part here has what I call just like, oh gosh, what's my like little bit? So it's just like the really crunch of the word of what it is. For example, get students working together in productive ways. So a sound bite, that's what I want. It's just a quick little sound bite of what that means. And so I have some pictures to help me, but then as well as some notes. So this one says, be selective of tasks, be selective in each individual role, pick tasks that all members can do, and each member should be personally responsible for one step in the task. And something else I decided to do, so these have information to guide me. So our quick soundbite, our word or soundbite, a description, examples, more detail up here. But it's really hard to see, but I also put some information here and here. So what I did was I also listed in every single one of these one of Gardner's multiple intelligence theories. So this top one, this is an interpersonal, meaning it's working with other people. So I really wanted to put those multiple learning styles as well. So when I'm doing this, I'm kind of making sure I'm teaching and that my practices are going towards the whole student. And then another note I put up here was Communities of Practice by Wenger, I should say. And just that when students work together, so if you're familiar with communities of practice, it just means that when students work together, they're more successful. We learn more from our peers around us. And so just working with people, working in groups, really just helps with our entire knowledge. So just a reminder of communities of practice, that's really important. So that's another theory. So it doesn't really, I mean, these are all research-based strategies in the classroom, but I also added some research-based theories as well, just as a reference for myself. So the next one is practice. Give students plenty of practice spaced out over time. So that's my little soundbite. And some information on the top here, and I want to be able to read it too, says, helps retain knowledge and skills, so practice does, allows opportunity to check for understanding, make sure when you're doing practicing that you're practicing the right thing, so make sure that you're really on task, and some more of these will go with it. Have students practice something in a spaced out time frame, so over gradual time is really helpful too. It is not, so practice is not mindless busy work or work you haven't taught or modeled, so that's really important. And then for the multiple intelligence, this is intrapersonal, meaning that a lot of it can be personal work. It's, doing it solo. The next one is feedback, which is so important. So this provides students with feedback so they can refine their efforts. So feedback, I need to look at this quick here. It says, look at how they performed and what they can do to improve that. So feedback gives students a tangible understanding of what they did well, where they are at, and how they are going to improve. Make sure you give lots of feedback as an educator. And so someone who was really influential in this is John Hattie, or Hattie. He was a really big person in understanding this and really developing that theory. And then, again, this is interpersonal because it's dealing with people talking. And then I put growth versus fixed mindset. That's another theory because when you're giving feedback and you're giving the right kind of feedback to a student, you are helping build a growth mindset. So if you know the difference between a fixed and a growth is actually really important for all of our students to have. So with growth, we're, saying we're praising their effort. When we're giving them feedback, we're giving them feedback. So helping them build that growth mindset. So I wanted to put that here that don't just say like, you're really smart as your feedback. That's a fixed mindset. So what can my feedback be that helps nurture and give growth to our growth mindset? So as feedback, our next is clear lesson goals, which is huge. So be clear about what you want your students to learn. All right. It holds a high expectation for the students as well as the teacher. And it helps you as a teacher focus on every aspect of the lesson, which is really important. What are our students going to get out of this? And so this is more, I thought, of a logical, logical multiple intelligence. And then I also put Bloom's taxonomy. So Bloom's taxonomy, again, if you're familiar with it, when we're really developing, like our objectives and what our goal is, being aware of Bloom's taxonomy can really help to make sure that your students are understanding and get exactly what they need to get out of it. So the next one is be graphic. So have students summarize new information in graphical ways. So it helps students summarize what they have learned and how to understand the relationships between different subjects and contexts. The graphics need to be accurate, and you can also do a graphical summary to show and tell others as well. So some examples, and a lot of you are familiar with this when they think of graphic organizers, but mind maps, flow charts, Venn diagrams, T-charts, cycle maps. And I also just added a picture, and they've got like the names in there, like storyboard, concept map, all of those, so people can kind of get a general idea of helping students bring in a lot of information, new, old, different subjects, all of that, to really help them piece together what that is. So, and then it helps with the visual spatial learner. So being able to put that down and space it out and see how these are interconnected is really helpful for those types of learners as well. And my last one was questions, okay? So use questions to check that your students understand things. So ask questions, but make sure that you're checking for understanding. So it's not just like, okay, do we get it? Like, that's not really checking for understanding. Ask questions that are going to help you gauge where are your students at. So you should know before you move on to the next part of the lesson. So examples to use are randomized sampling, student answer boards, or tell a friend. And this helps with the verbal linguistic learner. So when you're talking with people, that really helps. So I just think that this is a really great tool to help with, me as an educator. These are all things I want to practice. These are all research-based, but these are things I want to work on personally, stuff that I might be struggling at or I want to learn more about. So this is a way for me to use this flip chart to have at my desk. And I've been creating it, and I've already referenced it like 3 times today while I was teaching, which I just thought was like, oh, thank gosh I have this assignment. So in my review that you're going to see, I've got some information that I'm going to provide my own feedback for, but also I gave some pictures of it. So if you want to see this more in detail, because I know it's hard to see it in a video, check out those pictures. And if you have questions or comments, please feel free to let me know. But thank you so much, and I hope you learned something. And if you need these resources, let me know, and I'd love to send them to you. Thank you so much.